Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing real-time facial detection on videos using Python and OpenCV. So if you watched my most recent video, you've already got the haarcascades working on images, and what you're going to do today is you can come to this blog post. I'll leave a link in the description. It'll be the first one. Just grab the code for when we did it on images and copy and paste it into a Python file, because this is what we're going to be editing. So yeah, grab the code, just hit copy here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the directory we were before in the last video. So we've got OpenCV master here and our resources, which we don't really need for this video, but we're going to go ahead and create a file. I'm just going to call it something like cvid.py, and let's just check that's been created. Then we can go ahead and open that Python file, and we're just going to copy and paste all of our code that we've just grabbed from my website. Today we're not working with images, so we can go ahead and get rid of these two lines of code, and instead we're going to define something called cap, which just stands for capture in this case, and we're going to use the method video capture, because that's what we're doing today. And I'm going to put a 0 in here, and this just depends on where your camera is. So this will probably be 0 or 1 depending on how many cameras you have. So we're going to be opening up a video feed, and we're going to constantly be looking for faces and eyes within that video. So we're clearly going to need something like we're going to need an infinite while loop, because we're going to be constantly looking for faces and eyes. So let's start by saying while true. We just want this to go on indefinitely until we press a key and decide to end it. So we'll just say while true, and we're pretty much going to bring everything across by 1. So once we've moved everything across, it should look roughly like this. The other thing we're going to move across is this imShow, and that's going to go in line with our first for loop, and so is our wait key, but we're going to be altering that slightly, because right now what this will do is at the end of every frame of the video, it's going to ask us to click a button to get the next frame, so we'll be changing that. Also, we're not quite done yet. So we've got our face cascade as before, but what we want to do is we're going to make a few changes. So I'm going to define two variables like this, and they're going to be equal to our cap.read. So then we're going to define this gray variable, and we're going to essentially be converting our color feed to grayscale. If you're wondering why we're doing that, I recommend either watching my previous video, or for more in-depth understanding, reading my blog post, which we saw at the beginning. So in here we put image, which is our frame of the video feed, and then we're going to do CV, this is capitals, and it's BGR to gray in capitals, so rather than RGB it's BGR. So we're almost ready to go now, but not quite. So as I said a couple of minutes ago, we've got this wait key 0. Now if you read the documentation, what this does is it waits indefinitely for an input to occur. So right now we would just get one frame of our video, which would essentially just be a still image, and then we would have to click something, and then we would get the next frame, and so on. So for the video feed to be continuous, what we want to do is change this to something like 30, which is a really common value, and this is 30 milliseconds. So we've changed this to 30 milliseconds, but we still want to be able to break out at some point. So what we're going to do is, we're going to set this equal to a variable, and I've seen this done before with k, and then what we're going to say is if k is equal to 27, which is just the ASCII character for the escape button in your top left corner of your keyboard, probably, and then we're going to break out of the loop. And that's it. And once we break out of the loop, we're going to destroy all windows, and there is just one last thing we need to do, which is release our capture like this, and then we will actually be able to go ahead and see if our program's working. So I temporarily stopped recording there because I had a feeling that I wasn't going to be able to use the webcam for both recording my face and OpenCV. I was right about that. I tried a couple of different things and I couldn't get it to work. So what I've done is I've removed the webcam temporarily from my recording software, and we're just using it for OpenCV. So that managed to get it working. And what we're going to do now is we're going to run our Python script. So it was called, what was it called actually? It was cvid, wasn't it? So Python 3 cvid.py, and we should have something now that works. It doesn't work amazingly. Lots of false detections. You can even see my big juicy spot on the right hand side of my mouth there, which looks pretty horrific, but that's okay, I can deal with that. Sort my hair out. But yeah, so you can see there's lots of false positives, and it's lagging like hell because apparently my computer's not good enough to record and do this OpenCV business. Yeah, lots of false positives on the eyes. Our head is pretty good. Oh, it's detected 2 heads there. So not perfect. You could probably play around and do something fairly useful with this. Yeah, I saw a really cool video actually that I might do in the future where he got a drone to follow his face using OpenCV by using the center point and try and keep the drone at your center point. So I think it's good enough for something like that. The eye detection's a bit off actually. It's pretty much like my nose is definitely not an eye, neither is my mouth, but it seems to think so. So anyway, we've played around with that. Hopefully you got yours working. If you didn't, then you know, leave a comment, I'm sure you will. And I will try and help you out. But yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.